Hi guys, welcome back to my channel, and today we're going to be doing a review on the Arteza art supplies. Mainly the watercolor supplies because those are the ones that I received and the ones that I would probably use the most. So, you'll see a little speed paint right in the corner. That one is going to be posted fully later on, so you can watch the full speed paint if you would like. I'm just leaving it there in case you guys want to see a little example here and there. So, from the products that I received, so the first would be this. This is the Arteza water brush, and I received the set of 6 of them. They have other sets where, if you guys have seen the Pentel Aquash, they have some that look similar to that. I received these ones that are in this type of plastic case with the red grip and the little end piece right here. So with this set, you get 3 brushes that have this type of style brush, and they're in 3 sizes. So you get a mini, you get this medium size, and then you get a large size, and these all come with this nylon brush. I don't know if you can see that against the white there, but a nylon brush, and that's supposed to keep them all nice and pointed. And also something that they note is that when you're pressing out water, it prevents any like backflow. So sometimes that happens with me where some of my pigments or like my watercolor actually goes back into this little water barrel right here, and that's not fun. So that's pretty neat, and it also comes with a cap, and they work pretty well. So the set also comes with 3 other brushes, so you get 6 total. So you get 3 of this style brush, and then you get 3 other brushes, which I actually don't happen to have with me, but you can see it in the unboxing or the kind of showcase of this product. They are flat brushes, and you get 3 sizes of those, and I mainly don't really use that type of water brush, which is why I don't have it with me, but they all work fine, and they're all well built, and they don't feel flimsy at all, so that's good. I'll go into more detail with everything in just a little bit. So this, I also received the Arteza watercolor real brush pens. So the reason why they're called real brush is because if you actually take this off, you can kind of see that they're like real bristles. If you can see that with the glare, they're actually real bristles, so it's almost like painting with a sumi brush, and I actually really like this. All of the brushes go to a point like that, and we'll get into that later because I absolutely love these. These are like my favorite item out of everything that I was sent to test. The next thing is the Arteza Caseless or Woodless watercolor pencils. So they have regular woodless or caseless colored pencils, but these ones are the watercolor ones, and these come in a set of 24. So I'll get into that. So you probably have seen like pencils that are woodless kind of like this, where it's all full pigment. So I'll get into that. And then the last item that I received are the Arteza Fineliners. These are all 0.4, and they come in sets of 24, 48, and 72, I believe. The Arteza brush pens also come in the same type of set, so like 24, 48, and 72. And here you can see I have a color chart that I made of the Arteza real brush pens. I got the set of 72, so I did a little color chart of all of them. And the thing is that is a little bit kind of like for me is that they don't have names. So I'm probably going to do another color chart where I do everything by color family, just to make it a little bit easier. And then on the back I have a color chart of the watercolor pencils. These all have names, and something I did note with some of the names here is that, one, this is the Carmine Pencil. If you're familiar with art pigments and such, Carmine should be more of a crimson lake, or more of a, I guess, a red color. So that just a little bit confused me. So the main thing with these pencils, they work fine, but it's just the naming is a tad bit confusing at times. It could just be like the set that I received. The other ones might not be like this, but like the naming for this one, Carmine, tad bit weird. But I also got a few where the names were mixed up. So magenta and vermilion were mixed up. So this one is labeled as magenta, and then this one was labeled as vermilion. So that could just be something that happened in the factory. So I don't think all the sets are like this. It could just be the ones that I received. But just note that this might be something that happens. This also happened with these two here, yellow, green, and light green. It could be that they're actually just named that, but if they did, then the colors are a bit off because this is not yellow green. But yeah, so that's just it. But the colored pencils themselves are fine, if you can see here. Also take into account that the paper that you're using can affect how the actual colors or the pigments kind of dissolve. So I'll show you an example in a minute. So this this watercolor paper that I was using is one of the more less easily like dissolvable type, if that makes sense. I'll explain in a minute, but the markers did quite well on here. Like, they're all very vibrant and I love the colors, they're so pretty. And the Fineliners also do not have any naming system, so you might have to do your own color chart for that and just like have everything organized into color family in that case. But yeah, so I'll go into the examples in just a minute. Okay, so now let's get into the actual examples. And sorry if my camera looks like it's shaky, it's actually not. My camera has a knack for constantly adjusting or refocusing, so please bear with me. So first let's get into the actual brush markers. So I'm going to show you an example of 3 colors, and I'm going to show you how you can layer both of them, or all of them, and blend quite well. And then you can do it without the work of this as well. So I'm going to start with this darker blue, and again there are no names, so I can't exactly tell you which blue this is, but you can look at the little color indications right here, and those actually help out a lot. So I'm gonna show you an example of blending that you can do without a water brush, just by going over, just like with marker, or Copics I mean. The only thing you have to note with this is that you have to use watercolor paper because these are water based, so if you don't do that, then obviously the paper is going to tear. So as you can see there, you can blend without a water brush, but then if you were to actually throw in a water brush, you just squeeze this a little bit, some water comes out, and then you can go ahead and paint. So here is all of that blended together, and it's quite nice. Like, I really love like using this, using the brush pens along with the water brushes. It's like my favorite combination, which you will see in the full speed paint because that's what I did for most of the speed paint. I used everything else in the speed paint as well, but mostly these brush markers because I love them so much. They are awesome. You will note that some of them, I don't have one right now, but some of the bristles, like if you can see here, this one is some of the, I guess, the tallest or the longest bristles might be a tad bit too long, so you can't get the most finest details, but most of them are okay with that. So that's just something that varies between brush, between each marker, and sometimes you have a few frays here and there, but it's not that big of a deal. You can either just cut it off or something, but the rest is all just fine. So then if we were to go into the colored pencils, I'm just going to show you an example, maybe blending these two, because these are closer. So first I'll just show you what this looks like dissolved by itself. So you use a light hand, you don't need to use a lot at all with this, with these pencils, because they're very pigmented. So it dissolves just fine, as you can see here. And then if you want, you can go over with this, like while it's still wet, to really get that pigment in there. So you can use watercolor pencils two ways. You can use them wet on wet, or dry on wet, or wet on wet, etc., etc. So what I'm gonna do now is have both of these kind of mixing together. So I'm gonna do a layer of this one first. And I personally don't use colored pencils that often anyway, so it's all up to personal preference. So I'm just gonna do that, and you can mix the colors right on the page, like so. And since over here has more of that original magenta color, or vermilion in this case, you can kind of see that like it mixes and then kind of fades out into that magenta color. So I love these pencils too, like they're really good for base colors and mixing right on the page, so I love that. And look at the ink for these markers, like isn't that just like smooth as a baby's butt? I love that. So now as for the fine liners, honestly these work really well, so I don't feel like I need to completely show you a brand new speed paint. These you can see them in action in the speed paint that I will post, the full one of the one that's in the corner. So I'm just gonna show you how they look. So they're at 0.4. I usually use 0.005 or 0.003 or 0.1. 0.4 is a bit bigger than what I normally use, but it's actually pretty precise depending on the paper that you use. So these are water-based, so they're not compatible with watercolor markers, which is why, or just watercolor in general, which is why in the speed paint that you'll see that I actually use these at the end. So I paint everything first and then I use these over it. And I love these. I love these because I have the set of 72, but even with the set of 24, they're very affordable. I looked up the price. Right now there's actually even a sale on Arteza as well, and there's going to be a link in the description giving you guys a coupon code for when you make an order with Arteza. So I highly recommend that you like try out some of their products, because honestly you're gonna be pleased. You're not gonna be disappointed at all. And these fine liners come in so many colors, which is why I love them. Like they even come in a skin tone color, like 3 skin tone colors, which you might not have the most use for, but they're there, so you can use that for subtle tints and like subtle details in your art. So I love that because, you know, some colors like other fine liners you'll get like, you know, a purple, a blue, and a pink, but you don't get everything in between. And here you get like almost a vampy purple, a berry, a fuchsia magenta type color. Like I love that. I am someone who uses and loves the variations of each color, so I don't stick with the primaries and I don't stick with the typical like brighter colors. I love the unsaturated colors, the muted colors, which are kind of the same thing, but you know what I mean. So they cover all of that. So if you need like, if you like to do a lot of fashion art, these are great. Like even the brush markers, they also do the same in terms of the color variety. Like it's not just a few variations of the same color, it's a bunch of variations. If you recall this, like you don't see this color that often, this one either, and one of my favorite colors is this one. I also love this color too. Like you don't see these types of like pale colors, like these aren't even light, they're just muted. And I absolutely love it, because there's one thing that can win me over, and that's a huge color variety and like a bunch of different like textile colors, or just like I don't know, just a bunch of different unused, fashionable, trendy colors. So yeah, in total I love everything that I used. My favorites are obviously the real brush pens, which I seriously recommend that you guys try out. Like out of everything here, you have to try out these brush pens. The second most would be actually they're kind of a tie, so these and the fine liners are my next favorite. Like I love these. These are really good. I've used this for about a few months now, or actually not a few months, but more like a month now, and it has not worn down at all. And I'm pretty harsh with my supplies, but this is really good, so I highly recommend that you guys try out everything. The pencils I love as well too, but it just happens that like I don't use colored pencils or watercolor pencils that often, so I don't have that much of a use for these, but they're still great if you want to try out some pencils. And the best thing about all of these is that I checked the price out and they're all really affordable. So you can go on Amazon, buy them there, or you can go straight to the Arteza website itself and buy the products there too. So yeah, highly recommend. Like, these brush pens are my life. Like, I didn't even bring up my watercolor, like my watercolor palette to school. Instead, I just brought these because they're that great and I love them. So yes, try it out and watch that speed paint, the full speed paint of the one in the corner. And yeah, I hope you guys like seriously try these at least once. You won't regret it. And let me know what you think, and remember that there's a coupon code, there's a link in the description that you can go to get a discount off your stuff. So honestly, why not? And I think they have a sale right now too. Like, go take a look, go check them out. Anyways, hope you guys enjoyed the video and I hope it helped out somewhat. So yeah, bye!